Politics today seem to be an amalgam of multiple ideas and beliefs. But is it really that much different than what the Founding Fathers had intended? Who are the ones that influenced this system of government, and what was their ultimate goal? Alexander Hamilton was one of the most important figures in influencing the political system of the United States. Even though he never held the office of president, he instilled policies and institutions that are still in place today. Hamilton was born in the Leeward Islands in the mid-1700s. Despite a tumultuous childhood, he managed to overcome his circumstances and not only survive, but thrive. Showing an aptitude for writing at an early age, he was encouraged by local businessmen to move to New York to pursue an education. Once the Revolutionary War was in full swing, Hamilton eagerly enlisted and quickly showed his prowess as a leader while serving in the New York Provincial Artillery Company. He was promoted to captain and revered as a hero both during and after his service to his country. In later years, he would serve under President George Washington as the first Secretary of the United States Treasury. While serving in this role, Hamilton would enact many policies that are still relevant to this day. Hamilton was instrumental in founding the first national mint that would unify the country's money under a federal heading and eliminate the confusing exchange practices that were currently in place within the individual states. Most of what Hamilton would do in office was not without its controversy, though. A devout member of the Federalist Party, Hamilton was for a stronger federal government and lobbied for such principles in everything that he did. For instance, in forming the nation's first national bank, Hamilton would draw ire from the citizens that the Federalist Party were trying to give the federal government too much power. Hamilton would argue that just because the government would be modeled loosely after the monarchy in England, it was not a certainty that corruption would find its way into the United States system of government. Thomas Jefferson would lobby on the other side of the aisle, arguing that governmental power should fall to each individual state. The struggle between these two ideals can still be seen today in modern politics. Despite the fact that the first national bank of the United States would later fail, the very formation of a national bank would set a precedent that would stand the test of time. Alexander Hamilton was indeed a Federalist, and he argued for federal power against the likes of Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. This argument would later become known as the Great Divide, and would start a national debate that is still felt to this day. Because of this divide, Hamilton would pen a letter stating his vision for the nation that would influence George Washington and generations down the line. Essentially, Hamilton wanted to prove that just because the new government could appear the same as another, it would not necessarily mean that it was susceptible to the same tyrannical pitfalls as the original. Hamilton would never become the President of the United States, but that did not stop him from being one of the largest influences. The very notion that someone not serving in the highest office could have such a high impact on this nation proves that he was right. The system of government does not necessarily spell corruption, as long as the government officials are open and willing to listen to the people.